Hi again, welcome back to Seekers and Cynics. My name is Richard Bentley and this is Bodmin Road Church. And last time I started a series looking at the Bible. What is it? And my aim was just to help you, if you're not familiar with it or if you've got objections to it, just to understand a little bit more and to find your way into it. And so I know it's not easy at first sight. It's a big fat book, and if you're not familiar with it, you're fresh to it, it can feel daunting. I get that, understand that. And so what I really want to do in this little series is help you if you're a seeker looking for truth. I want to give you some navigation tools to find your way into and around the Bible. And if you're a cynic and you've got some objections, it's full of nonsense or full of errors and contradictions, then I want to challenge you to think a little bit more carefully and not to dismiss it just on hearsay. You know what? It'll be no good one day when we stand in front of God and God asks you, well, why did you never open my book? It'll be no good just to say, well, Richard Dawkins said, or my mate said, or my Uncle John said it was full of fairy tales. Or the guys at the pub said it was full of contradictions. How about checking it out for ourselves? We ought to have that integrity, really. And that's what I want to challenge you to do. Not to take anything from me, but not to take anything from those media atheists like Richard Dawkins or from your mates at the pub, but to check something out for yourself. And I want to try and help you do that and challenge you to do that. We looked last time at that word inspiration, the fact that all Christians believe that the Bible is God's inspired truth. And in broad terms, what we mean by that is that although it's written by human authors, that over 40 of them, over 1,000 years, that God nevertheless oversaw that whole process to ensure that what's in the Bible is the truth that we need about Him and about ourselves and about how to find our way to get to heaven. The Bible, because it's inspired, is also a unique book and has rather different qualities and properties to any other book that you might open. It becomes a living book, a place where there is the potential, if we'll come at it with the right attitude, to actually encounter God and to meet with God as we discover His truth there. And I want to encourage you, that's exciting. It's not a dead, dusty book. There is power in those pages. I heard the story of one guy actually was given a Bible to read in rehab. And he found the pages, which were very thin, to be wonderful for rolling joints. And he smoked his way through many chapters until finally in John's Gospel he stopped and he began to read. And as a result, he met Jesus Christ, became a Christian, and his whole life was transformed. His therapist in rehab was so amazed and impressed by the change that she became a Christian too. True story. There is power in these pages because it's God's inspired truth and not just a dusty old book. It can be absolutely life-changing, dynamite, if we'll come at it in the right way. So take care if you open it. But if you are going to open it, where do we start? What's in it? If you're a novice and you're just starting, I accept, here's a big fat book. How do I come at it? And that's what I want to help with. So forgive me if you already know some of this, but I want to take nothing for granted and start from scratch. And the first thing to say is really the Bible comes in two main bits, the Old Testament and the New Testament. And the Old Testament there's a lot more of it, okay? There's the difference, okay? So the Old Testament is, well, what's that? Probably 75-80% of the total. And what's the difference? Well, the Old Testament is a collection of documents containing the spiritual and political history of Israel. Put very simply, the Old Testament is the Jewish holy book. And it was finished, completed, signed, sealed, and translated, all done and dusted about 200 years before Jesus came. Old Testament's finished, sorted. And there are some famous passages in there that you will have heard of. The Ten Commandments, the 23rd Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd, Noah's Ark, Jonah and the whale, David and Goliath, Joseph and his Technicolor dream coat, all that stuff's there in the Old Testament. But there's also quite a lot of quite tricky stuff too. And if you're starting out with the Bible, I would steer you away from the Old Testament. Why do I say that? I say that because the Old Testament documents are written in an ancient time and an ancient culture, and they are primarily addressing that time and that culture, not ours. You see, the Bible is not naked truth, straight from heaven to you and me. That's the Islamic view of the Quran, but it's not the Christian view of the Bible. Each part of the Bible was written in a particular context, for a particular audience, for a particular reason. And in the Old Testament, those contexts and reasons and audiences were very, very, very different to us today. And that's what makes it tricky. So the Old Testament's got animal sacrifices in it, and some other funny customs and rules, and some tricky styles of literature, all of which makes it harder for us to make sense of. And to navigate that territory, you really do need a little bit of experience. And so, if you're coming at the Bible new, I would avoid the Old Testament. It's a little bit like if you're new to trekking, you want to avoid the Himalayas. You know, the Himalayas are great, there's nothing wrong with the Himalayas, but if you're new to trekking, they'll kill you. And the Old Testament's great, it's wonderful, but if you're new to the Bible, it's a tricky place to go. And so, for now, I would put it to one side if you're a beginner. So what about the New Testament? What's that? Well, if you remember, we said the Old Testament was the history of Israel. The Old Testament is the backstory to Jesus, okay? The Old Testament is like Star Wars Episode 1, 2, and 3, which was the backstory to Luke Skywalker, okay? And so the New Testament is like Episode 4, A New Hope, okay? Do you see? The Old Testament is the backstory to Jesus. And since Christianity and being a Christian is all about Jesus, well, it's the New Testament that we need most, and it's the New Testament that's the best place to start. And I've got some good news for you. The New Testament doesn't contain anywhere near as many sort of tricky stories and tricky bits as the Old Testament does. You know, a few maybe, but on the whole, I think an average person starting from scratch could read the New Testament and get it, or certainly 90% of it, without much help. The New Testament's a lot more accessible. So next time what we're going to do is zoom in on the New Testament and have a look what's there, what to expect. But what I want to do for now is just leave you with a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. So this guy, of course, not a Christian, but he said this: "You Christians look after a document containing enough dynamite to blow all civilization to pieces, turn the world upside down, and bring peace to a battle-torn planet. But you treat it as though it's nothing more than a piece of old literature." You know what? The Bible is way more than a piece of old literature. There is life-changing power in its pages, and we'll look a bit more at that in the New Testament